Welcome back to the Conveyance Desk. In episode 12, we covered mortgage cases on the seller side, releasing the mortgage and discharging the charge. Today is episode 13, and this one is about the mirror mortgage cases on the buyer side, where the buyer is financing the purchase, what the bank does on transfer day, and where buyer-side mortgage cases produce their own derailments. Quick reminder, this is general educational content, not legal advice. Mortgage approvals are individual. Lender policies vary. Loan terms vary by applicants. So use this as a guide. Then validate your own approval terms. Here is the framing. A buyer financing a Dubai property is buying with the bank's money. The bank releases funds against the new title deed and registers a charge against the property simultaneously with the transfer. That sounds simple? It is not. Buyer-side mortgage cases involve more documentation, more coordination, and more time pressure than cash transactions. Most buyer-side derailments come from the time pressure. 1. Pre-approval and offer letter. A buyer financing the purchase starts before the property is identified. Pre-approval is the first step. The bank assesses the buyer's income, debt, and risk profile. Issues a pre-approval letter stating the maximum loan amount and the indicative terms. The pre-approval is conditional. It depends on the bank later approving the specific property. Pre-approval typically lasts 60 to 90 days. If the buyer does not find a property in that window, the pre-approval expires and the underwriting is repeated. A buyer who shops with an expired pre-approval is a buyer whose offer is weaker. Sellers and listing parties prefer offers backed by current pre-approval. 2. The property approval. Once the buyer signs Form F on a specific property, the bank approves the property. This is a separate underwriting step. The bank values the property, reviews the title, confirms the properties in a freehold area where the bank lends, confirms the developer is approved by the bank, confirms there are no encumbrances or legal issues with the title. Property approval typically takes 2 to 4 weeks. This is one of the reasons mortgage cases take longer than cash cases. The property approval window must be built into the contract timeline on Form F. 3. The valuation. The bank instructs an independent valuer to assess the property. The valuation determines the loan-to-value ratio. Most UAE banks lend up to 80% for first-time UAE national buyers, 75% for first-time expat buyers, lower for second properties and high-value properties under central bank rules. If the valuation comes in below the contract price, the bank lends against the lower number. The buyer must cover the gap from cash. This is a common surprise. Buyers who have budgeted exactly to the contract price find themselves short when the valuation lands below. Plan for the valuation gap. Have a cash buffer available. A property that valuations consistently below contract price is a property with a market price problem. That is a separate conversation. 4. The final mortgage offer. After property approval and valuation, the bank issues the final mortgage offer. This is the binding loan agreement. It includes the loan amount, the interest rate, the term, the standing order arrangement, and the conditions. The buyer signs the offer, returns it to the bank. The bank prepares the drawdown. Final mortgage offers are dated. They typically remain valid for 30 to 60 days. If the transfer slips past validity, the offer is reissued and a fresh check at current rates can apply. Time pressure on transfer day is real. 5. The bank on transfer day. The buyer's bank attends the trustee office on transfer day, or sends a representative with full authority to draw down and register the charge. The bank's representative receives the title deed once the transfer is processed, releases the funds to the trustee for check issuance to the seller, registers the bank's charge against the new title at DLD, issues the buyer's loan documentation pack. The mortgage registers in the same sitting as the transfer. There is no gap. The buyer becomes the owner. The bank becomes the charge holder. DLD records both simultaneously. 6. The down payments. The down payment is the buyer's cash contribution. For an 80% loan-to-value mortgage, the down payment is 20%, plus the buyer's share of DLD fees, trustee fees, mortgage registration fees, and any agent fees. The down payment is paid by manager's check to the seller. The bank's drawdown is paid by manager's check to the seller. Together, they make up the full purchase price. The check structure is buyer's check from cash, bank's check from drawdown. Combined, they equal the purchase price. Both must be in the seller's name. Both must be in the correct amounts. 7. The mortgage registration fee. DLD charges a fee for registering the mortgage charge. It is 0.25% of the loan amount, plus knowledge and innovation fees. This fee is paid by the buyer at the trustee office on transfer day. It is separate from the 4% DLD transfer fee. It is separate from the trustee fee. It is sometimes missed in buyer fee calculations. A buyer arriving with checks that exclude the mortgage registration fee is a buyer who needs to issue an additional check on the day. Build it into the calculation up front. 8 common derailments. 3 derailments come up repeatedly on buyer-side mortgage cases. Final mortgage offer expired between Form F and trustee day. The transfer cannot proceed without a current offer. Reissuance takes days, sometimes a fresh underwriting check. Bank representative non-attendance. The bank cannot complete the drawdown without an attending representative with authority. Sending the wrong person, or sending no one, stops the transfer. Drawdown documentation incomplete. The bank's internal paperwork must be complete before the trustee can process the transfer. Missing signatures, missing internal approvals, missing insurance certificates. Each is preventable. Each requires confirmation 72 hours before transfer. 9. The full sequence. Pre-approval secured before property search. Property identified and Form F signed. Property approval and valuation initiated. Final mortgage offer issued. Transfer date set with mortgage offer validity in mind. Bank coordination confirmed 3 working days before transfer. Down payment check prepared. Mortgage registration fee included in the buyer's calculation. On transfer day, bank representative attends. Drawdown processes. Checks to seller and seller's bank, if applicable. Title deed issues. Bank's charge registers. Loan documentation pack issues. The buyer leaves the trustee office as the registered owner with a registered mortgage. In the next episode, we will cover power of attorney for property transfers. When you need one. What makes a POA compliant? What makes a POA rejected? And the legalization chain for foreign executed instruments. That's all for today. This was the Conveyance Desk.